Huh, this looks different. Welcome back to episode 4 of my series where we are creating an update to
End Minecraft.
Whoops! I meant creating an end update for Minecraft. Definitely what I meant. If you haven't checked out the first 3 episodes in this series, I highly recommend you do so. Anyways, let's get right into everything I've added today. My focus for this episode is going to be updating a structure that already exists in Minecraft, the End City. This is the only naturally generating structure you can find in the end, and is honestly kinda boring. I mean, sure, it's fun to explore the first few times, and it's nice to find an end ship and get an elytra, but after that, there really isn't any use for them. They're just kinda there, and sad, and don't have much of a purpose. So my goal is to spruce up the structure, and make it an overall more interesting area to explore. First, I felt like it would be cool to change the color scheme of the city, and just give it some more color diversity overall. Because right now it has a lot of purple, and in my previous videos, I've been using a lot of purple, so I wanted to move away from that color. So after messing around with some different colors, I ended up with something that looks like this. The purple blocks and pillars were recolored to be different shades of blue, and the end bricks were recolored to be a green color, kinda like the green color that's inside of the Eye of Ender. With the recoloring done for the structure, I started to move on to my next step, which was making the structure feel like an actual city. They are called end cities after all, and something that most cities have in common is people to inhabit them. And while shulkers already exist in the end cities, I wanted to add another mob that would live in the structure. So I introduced to you a brand new mob I call the Rambling. On my last video, I asked you all what the new mob should be named, and while there were many good ideas, such as Little Goat Peeps, the one that stood out to me the most was Ramblings. So, boom, they're now called Ramblings. This new mob is a mix between a human and a ram, if you couldn't tell, and naturally spawns in the end cities. The Ramblings are neutral towards players that they meet. When they spawn, there is a chance that they will be holding an enderite sword, or a brand new weapon I added to the game, the slingshot, which I will get into later. This mob is also very similar to piglins, because you can barter for items with them. Except this mob doesn't barter for gold, it barters for enderite, which is a new aura I added into the game in a previous episode. So all you need to do is give one of them an enderite ingot, and they will give you something back in return. A few of the items you can receive from bartering with Ramblings include, but aren't limited to, ender pearl slime balls, bamboo, arrows, blue sand, raw enderite, feather falling enchantment books, feather falling enchantment boots, and scorched endstone. But there are plenty of more items that can be collected from bartering with the Ramblings. With a new mob making its home in the end city, I thought it would be nice to make the structure feel a little more livable than it currently is. So I decided to add a few new rooms that generate inside of the end cities. And the first new room I added is the kitchen. Cause fun fact, living things need to eat, or they will no longer be living things. This room consists of a furnace for cooking food, a chest to hold ingredients, and a new item that is called the spice stand. It is a retextured brewing stand that can be used to create different spices to add to your food. The 2 new spices I've added into the game are salt and pepper. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, they are pretty uncommon. We will start off with talking about salt. There are 2 ways that you can get salt in this mod pack. The first way is by evaporating water, and the second way is mining for it. Which, fun fact, is how people actually get salt in real life. If you want to evaporate water in-game, all you have to do is take a water bucket and put it in a furnace. It's that simple. And once you've put it through the furnace, you'll end up with an item called mixed salt. And if you go mining for salt, the ore, once it's mined, will also drop the mixed salt. You can take this item and put it in the brand new spice stand. The stand basically just purifies the spices you put into it and bottles it up. This machine is also powered by Dragon's Breath, which gives Dragon's Breath another use inside of the game. Once you've put the mixed salt through the spice stand, you'll end up with a bottle of salt. You can craft the bottle of salt with any type of raw meat to add the seasoning onto the food. You can then cook the meat to get cooked salted meat. You can also do this with pepper, which grows on vines, which, fun fact, is how pepper grows in real life. You can harvest these vines to get mixed pepper, and just like with the mixed salt, you can throw them into the spice stand and get out a bottle of pepper, which you can also put onto any type of uncooked meat. You can also cook that meat to get cooked peppered meat. Right now, adding these spices to your food doesn't do anything to them, but let me know your ideas of what these spices could do in the comments down below. Let's move on to the next new room I've added into the game, the Armory. This room consists of 2 chests that are labeled with item frames. The 2 items in the frames are Enderite Sword and Slingshot, which is the new weapon I added into the game. This new weapon is used by the Ramlings and functions very similarly to a crossbow. You pull the string back of the slingshot and can release it at any point. When used by the Ramlings, the slingshot will shoot out shulker bullets that chase after the player. I've also added a main storage room that you can find in the end cities. These rooms are gated off by end rods and have chests that hold a good amount of supplies for the Ramlings. So if you try to open any of them, let's just say the Ramlings won't be super happy with you. I've also added multiple new sections of parkour in the end cities, just to give some diversity to the different ways of getting around the area. Speaking of ways to get around, I added a brand new block that makes getting from place to place real easy. I call it the telepad, and it's really simple. All you have to do is have two of these blocks placed down and blammo! You can teleport between the two blocks with ease. Now available at your local grocery store for only $1,587.95. Okay, but seriously, you can use this new block to easily teleport between two areas with ease. I haven't really determined how far you would be able to teleport with this, but for now it's a cool concept to have into the game. The colors for the panel of the telepad come from ender pearls, seeing as ender pearls also teleport you around. Plus someone recommended that I use the colors of an ender pearl for one of my blocks, and this seemed fitting. And that's all I've added for this video. In the next episode, I'm going to be working on making end cities even more amazing. So if you don't want to miss that, make sure to subscribe and leave a like if you're enjoying the series. And with that, I'll see you all next time.